All right, man. Sketchpad reactions. This is crazy, actually, man. I want y'all to check this out. You know what I'm saying? So McDonald's is banning everybody under 20 years old because of the gang violence and all this stuff. So let's get right to it.
Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video.
Well, a owner of a McDonald's says that he is tired of unruly young people terrorizing his restaurant, and now he's forcing customers to show their ID to get inside, and anyone under the age of 20.
So one McDonald's has started carding people to try and limit gang activity, but it's not the only location in town reeling from an increase in crime. Some restaurants have rolled out security guards to keep the bad guys from coming inside and enjoying their own version of a Happy Meal, while others are barely hanging on as they
Bro, was that a gun on the table? What was that on the table?
An increase in crime. Some restaurants have rolled out security guards to keep the bad guys from coming inside and enjoying their own version.
Bro, what is that? What is that? What's that on the table? I haven't ate McDonald's in a long time, so I don't even know why people still go there. I guess for the pancakes. The pancakes used to slap. I don't know, man. This is crazy.
Of a Happy Meal, while others are barely hanging on as they display the visible signs of a society that's collapsing all around them. Kinda like this one right behind me.
But most customers say the age restriction is a good thing, and so are the 3 security guards posted at the entrances, because teenagers from nearby high schools have turned the fast food restaurant into a local fight club.
McDonald's locations are all too often the scene of violent crimes, and both the victims and perpetrators.
That's a fact. When we was growing up, we used to fight in the McDonald's all the time. We used to say, meet me at the McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? You eat your double cheeseburger. You eat like this. And then you eat your double McDouble, your Big Mac, and then we square up. You know what I'm saying? Yo, this is what it was. That's crazy.
Can often be young.
They were panicking. Yeah. Some of the guys were calling somebody were calling 911, and then like in a few minutes, the police came.
I don't know why people pick this as their fight location, but it's unfair.
They're crazy in this McDonald's, and they do too much. They jump people, jump delivery workers, jump the security.
They snatch your stuff. They're cussing like a sailor. You can't turn around and say nothing to her.
Yo, the old lady, yo, that's all she care about is cussing. They're cussing. They're cursing. They're carrying guns, ma'am. They're carrying guns. They're cursing. They're cursing. They're cursing. They're cursing. Yo, this is crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? You got to know when to shut your mouth.
The teens add they're used to being ID'd since the Target around the corner also doesn't allow those under 18 in without an adult.
Police have been called to this location 29 times this year. 29 times. And it's not even March yet.
Crime in New York is now so bad that soon regular businesses could all have to start checking ID. But what nobody's talking about is that many McDonald's in this city have become problematic hotspots for crime, and it's been that way for a long time, and the problems in these stores mirror what's going on in our subway system. However, this isn't the fault of the brand or the majority of law-abiding McDonald's customers, or even the store employees who are on the front lines of New York City's losing battle against street crime.
He said they on the front lines. Like, me personally, bro, I'm sorry. I ain't going to these places. I only go to New York to try to fly. I fly, and I don't even like, I catch the bus to New York, and I sometimes I don't even like catching the train. I stay out the way. I am not being involved in none of this. I try my best not to come and interact with those YNs, man. Those YNs ain't, they out of control, man. They out of control.
Which unfortunately manifests itself in a variety of ways. We're talking crazed maniacs who try to jump the counter, gangs who use these places as target practice, and the former governor of New York, David Paterson, was even attacked in front of a McDonald's this past summer. But while the company is doing everything it can to limit how close its employees actually need to get to customers with things like app-based technology and touch-style ordering kiosks, danger still works its way into the front door of some of these locations. Which brings us to the real reason these places are both hotspots for crime and magnets for gang activity. They're located in a city that would rather enable its criminals than punish them. Which became frighteningly obvious last fall when a McDonald's in Manhattan's exclusive Upper West Side was overrun by gang members during a street fight, causing that entire restaurant to be evacuated with customers leaving their half-eaten meals behind. And as you're about to see,
Yo, but you know the crazy thing is, like, this is what kind of like, it's kind of weird to me that it's kind of weird that I'll put it to you like this. I'm not from Philly, but there's this one gas station who has, they said they was getting robbed, so they hired an armed guard, and he had I believe it was an M16. He's standing out front. And everybody was saying, oh, this is too much. They can't believe that. They never got robbed again. Nobody ever approached them again. Never. No one ever approached that store again. After that, once he put that armed guard out there, that was it. Maybe that's what they should do in these McDonald's.
a bunch of these places have crime problems that are so bad, checking ID won't stop them. What is up with the orange juice here? Why is it so concentrated? I actually like it. It's full of sugar. But I will tell you, while I feel safe hanging out inside this McDonald's, the other one I was at earlier, there is something going on with that place. I always see people selling stuff to each other, doing something outside or inside. There's people sleeping all over the place, and they're adults, so carting them won't keep them out.
One McDonald's in Brooklyn is barring anyone under the age of 20 from entering their restaurant without an accompanying adult.
A sign went up on the door announcing the policy change last week, and it comes after several incidents at that location.
So this particular location in Brooklyn, I've been there. It's by a whole bunch of schools, and it is kind of a rowdy location, but apparently their main problem is with large gangs of teenagers congregating inside the store, and they're not the only business with this problem. The Target nearby that location's also started carting people, and there are some malls in this city that won't allow anybody in without a parent if they're under 18 either. But before we get into why...
Listen, man, I want to tell y'all, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad because, number one, these dudes are acting a fool. If they acting a fool, no, they should not be. Listen, you need to talk to your boy. Because if you say, well, it ain't me, well, guess what? Talk to your boy and tell your boy stop acting a fool. This is the reason why. Talk to your boys. Talk to your boys. Oh, our kids don't act like that. Yeah. Talk to your friends' kids. Tell your friends' kids to stop messing it up for your kids. Tell them to stop, man. Tell them to stop.
That particular location is so dangerous and why some of the other locations in town have such extreme problems, it's important to understand how insane it is that a store has to ban its own customers in order to keep its doors open. Because that right there is the problem that underpins every single issue these stores are having. For example, the Upper West Side McDonald's that was taken over by gangs on Halloween after weapons were used just outside the restaurant, it's in an area where there were never any police, but where there was lots of gang activity taking place. And since the city won't stop the gang activity, it sometimes makes its way inside these places. And as you're about to see, there are some instances where checking ID won't do anything to stop even people who are under 18 from taking over these restaurants.
He says there were about 5 or 6 people running toward the McDonald's.
They were panicking. Yeah. Some of the guys were calling somebody were calling 911, and then like in a few minutes, the police came.
The police and...
So that right there is the aftermath of a street fight that took place outside of a McDonald's in what many would consider to be a nice neighborhood that then made its way inside the very store, forcing everyone there to leave and the police and an ambulance to arrive. And when armed felons are charging into your business, I'm not really sure what 1 or 2 security guards checking ID are going to be able to do about that. However, having security in these places is almost a necessity in such a high crime city, because the last thing you want is for gangs to be congregating and plotting from inside the very restaurant. That's just going to act as a magnet for more
That's a fact. Can't lie about it. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Criminal activity. And you certainly don't want people selling things that are illegal in these places either. And that right there is the big problem that a lot of the places in the area I'm in are experiencing.
But most customers say the age restriction is a good thing, and so are the 3 security guards posted at the entrances, because teenagers from nearby high schools have turned the fast food restaurant into a local fight club.
I don't know why people pick this as their fight location, but it's unfair.
So what's really unfair is that since we don't have law and order in this city, it's up to McDonald's to police itself, and it's up to customers inside these places to watch their backs. And if you thought McDonald's prices were too high, think of what a local restaurant's going to have to charge if they have to hire a security team. Those security guards' paychecks are coming out of the pockets of the customers, and it just creates a ripple effect. First, the store has to charge more money to keep itself secure, and after the amount of money that it charges goes up, the second thing that happens is less people are going to shop there, eat there, you know what I mean? And as less people come in the doors, the store's going to have to get more lax with who it lets in, and then the criminal element out on our streets is going to find its way inside once again. It's a lose.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, man. It's crazy. Super crazy. Super crazy. Yeah, man. I'm just saying. That's crazy. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, man. Y'all just got to be careful out there where y'all go eat at. Some of these restaurants, man, they be having these YNs in there, and some of these, you just don't want to be a part of that. So, all right, man. Thank y'all for joining me. See y'all. Peace. Bye.